Hey, all you groovy ghoulies out there. Welcome to my channel. This is my first YouTube video, so please bear with me. I'm making this series of paranormal experiences that I've had since I was 5 for my family. Every time I go to a family gathering, all the kids want to hear the stories, and then all the kids want to hear the stories. So I've decided to do a YouTube channel and just featuring all my paranormal stories. And if you want to join my family, I'd love to have you. If not, thanks for coming by and at least watching this one. So this is my first video, so I'm going to do kind of a little bit of the origin story as to when I started having these experiences and a little bit more about my experiences. And I'm not a medium, I'm not a psychic. I am actually a disbeliever. I try to debunk everything. And when I can't find answers, it's a mystery to me. Maybe you know the answer to my conundrum, but it's unclear to me. So, my first story is kind of different. When I was about 5, it was my mother and my older brother that we were living together in an apartment, and my real father had taken a hike when I was 2, and so I was basically just with my mom and my brother, and my family would come around. My mom had 6 sisters and one brother, and then I had my cousin Kev and my older brother, and we that was my whole world basically at 5. One day, a stranger came to visit. I blew him off. Just that was just some person. When you're little like that, you don't care. He came around more and more, and eventually he became more in my life than I wanted. I did not care for him too much at the time, and didn't grow to like him any better over the years. And one day, my mom produces this dress for me. This was the 70s, early 70s, and she gives me this dress, and it was floral, bright neon floral pattern all over it, and it was polyester. That's what we wore back then. And I just thought it was the most beautiful dress I'd ever seen, and my mom made one to match. And I was like, oh, I feel so special. This dress is just so beautiful, and I loved it. And I was standing there with a cookie in one hand, swinging back and forth in my cute dress, just looking around, and more people are showing up. It's a party, and I didn't know what parties were back then when I was a kid at 5. And the man came, um, and there's a lot of laughing and joking and beer drinking and cigarette smoking because they did all this stuff in the 70s. Probably still do it now, but probably not much difference in that, but it was just real prominent then. And all of a sudden, I feel like a presence right back here. Somebody sneaks up on you and that you don't really quite know that they're there. And all of a sudden they'll go boo, and you kind of jump a little bit, and then you laugh and say, "Oh, I didn't felt something was like my eyes were on me. I felt like a presence there." And I kind of looked around. I thought maybe it's my cousin, maybe it's my brother, and it wasn't. Wasn't any of my aunts. We were all close in age. My aunts were more like my sisters, and because my grandmother, kept having children, and I was like, "What? That's so weird." So here I am. I'm just still dancing around in my dress and thinking I'm so pretty. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When all of a sudden I hear or feel a voice here inside my head, I don't know how to explain it. I'm paraphrasing because I was 5. I don't remember word for word, but the voice is a gentle voice, and the voice says to me, "That man is going to make your life very difficult. He will do things to hurt you, and you will have to fight to survive. You will have to fight for your life." And I remember thinking, "What? That's that's crazy, or that's weird." I mean, not crazy. I barely knew I had a consciousness yet. Um, but I believed it. Of course, it was something that was telling me something, so I believed it. And it said that it would try to be there for me as much as it could, but it couldn't always protect me. I had to fight for myself. So that, and then the voice was gone. And when I saw Star Wars, we're talking about A New Hope, when I saw it in the theaters as a kid. And he says, "The force will be with you always," to Luke. I always get really, really emotional because it reminded me of that voice kind of talking to me and guiding me, kind of like that. So it was really comforting to know that that voice may have been the force. I don't know. I have no clue what that voice was. It could have been anything, I guess. If you believe in that sort of thing, it could be Jesus or God. It could be an angel. It could be a devil. It could be a spirit. It could have been anything. It could have actually been the force, and it may have been just me having the gift of fear. I think we do have a sense of fear. We know things are going to be bad, and we get that feeling, and maybe that's what it was. But I definitely heard a voice. It definitely gave me a warning. Not too long after this party, which I learned later on was their engagement party, my mom married that man, the bad man, as I called him, who ended up being my stepfather. And as you might imagine, he did unspeakable things to me and my older brother for 15 years. He tried to end my existence about 5 times, and I had to fight to live. I had to fight to survive the last time he attempted. I had to actually do a battle with him and for my life. It was 15 years of horrendous, um, as you can imagine, things. Every, kind of thing he could do. Verbal, um, that sort of thing. I just saw something go swoop, and that's kind of making me kind of freak out a little bit. I'll have to go back and watch that and see what that was, because that's kind of freaking me out. I hope it was just dust. This room is a dusty room. That kind of freaked me out a little bit there. So anyway, I'm not just saying that. I'll have to go back and actually look at that. But anyway, so the voice was right. I did have a couple of experiences throughout my adult life of what I consider to be an angel. I'll have to tell those stories on here because I have some proof of that. I got some proof. Unfortunately, as a child, when you're growing up, you don't not in the 70s, you don't get, or 80s. There were no cameras. There were no phones. There were video recorders, or if they did, they were very, very expensive, and nobody owned them, nor would they lend them to a kid. There was nothing, no technology. I had, when I was a teen, a big cassette recorder, a boombox, and a cassette recorder, but that's all we really had. I knew nothing about EVPs, things like that, so that was unknown to me. So anyway, I look forward to telling these stories. I was kind of talking to my therapist, and she was saying, do you think it would make you feel better to kind of tell these stories and get these kind of stories out and just see how you feel? And so I'm going to give it a try. If you want to join me, I'm going to try to post these every Friday. If you want to kind of skip ahead, I did write a book based on my experiences as a child. Little Haunt on the Prairie, by Stephanie Sparks, is available on Amazon. I'll try to put a link in the description if you want to just follow the link. If not, go find it on your own. If you wanted to purchase an ebook copy, which is all that's on there right now, to support my channel, I would be so grateful. That would be so cool. I'd be so thankful to you. That would mean a lot to me. It's just goofy. It's my goofy stories of things that happened to me and my friends. After my mom married my stepfather, he moved us to the middle of nowhere, Kansas. I was in California, and I was moved to Kansas, and it was such a severe blow to me, to my life. I lost his family, my mom's family. I lost all my friends, my school, the ocean. I'm obsessed with the ocean, and I lost all that, and my family, not being there. And then I'm in the middle of nowhere, Kansas. It was so devastating, so devastating. But to make matters worse or better, depending on what you think, the town was haunted. The minute I got there, the locals were more than happy to tell me that the place was completely haunted, that Native Americans owned the land, and, of course, their spiritualism was still there. And I was kind of like, whatever. But the first house we moved into was haunted. So I'll be telling that story. But there were so many haunted houses. so many experiences I had with my friends. There was so many strange things that happened. It wasn't just hauntings, premonitions that we'd have, um, just strange creatures that would chase us, and bizarre things that happened out on the farms when I babysat. So scary. If you've ever been on a farm out in the middle of nowhere in the darkness of Kansas, it's scary. And I was scared by a lot of weird things that happened to me out on farms, but during babysitting, when I was babysitting, and not only babysitting, just goofing off with my friends, but there were so many strange things that happened. UFO sightings, just weird creatures that you would hear or see, just weird ghost things. It was just so many stuff, so many things. And that was just my childhood. When I got to be an adult and I met my husband and I married him, I began to have so many more paranormal experiences that have just followed me. And I still have paranormal things happen to me today. And I just experienced something a couple months ago, and I still want to debunk it. I still want to find the answers. I still want to figure out why it happened, and if there's another answer. Um, my husband doesn't believe me at all. Whatever. If he doesn't want to believe me, that's fine. If you don't want to believe me, that's fine too. I'm just going to tell you my stories. And these stories are all copyright protected because they're my stories of my own personal life. I did not glean them from anywhere else. So they're mine, and so I've copyrighted them. So please don't copy them on here. Anyway, thank you if you showed up. I appreciate it. And I will try to have another video next Friday, something a little bit more lighthearted. Most of my stories that about the paranormal are spooky, creepy, weird. They're funny. They're not. Most of them are not traumatic, so they're a lot of fun to think back. And even on Facebook the other day, I was talking to one of my friends that we experienced strange things together, and she was like, "Gosh, do you remember this? Do you remember that?" And it just made me think I'm going to do a YouTube video and just see where it goes. If mostly for my family. Um, if they want to get on here and watch them, they can do it anytime they want, and they can talk about it and do whatever they want. But anyway, thank you so much if you've been here and you made it this far, and I really appreciate you being here, and thanks for listening to my rambling for a few minutes here. Until next time, stay spooky. Bye.